Hello, everybody. It's CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana, just downtown. I'm outside, and I did not see uh, the aurora borealis last night. Uh, I don't expect to see it tonight or whatever. It's a clear night, though, but yeah, for the most part. I don't have a clear view of the northern sky. But let's see, we went out today on a day trip and to Lake of the Pines. It's one of our local lakes in the area. It's over in Texas, somewhere around Longview, and not too far from Jefferson, Texas, basically. And then from and we talked to people. It's like they didn't see it either. But there's a couple of nights left that it might be or whatever. I don't know. But what I did do was I got a plant to help support Steve. Uh, I got him some company, but all those additions, which almost doubles the leafage, the greenery of Steve, all of that was crammed inside of this pot, which I have weighted down with rocks because I'm basically just going to leave it outside. This is not a very large uh, surface, and all that was in here. And it was basically two two plants, and then actually it was like the beginning of four plants because there was like two plants that were well stocked. They had I had a good stock in the core. Those two I expect to survive. Then there's a third plant that does really, really well, that has the beginnings of a formation of a root system that, even though I transplanted it, I hope I didn't shock it. And then there's a fifth that has a couple of, uh, it may take root. Uh, it may take and it may not, and that would be cool if it did. And then there was a twig that I had to cut off that was about to bend or whatever, and it was just it didn't have. So what I cut it and I trimmed it and uh, put it in. So we'll see. But between all that, I expect at least the two larger parts that were coming out of this pot, because each one of them individually are not much smaller than Steve was when I first brought him home. So we have, and I call it the Steven system, or the Steven uh, ecosystem, basically, where it's just a pot of aloe vera, and that's cool. Um, and I kind of arranged it where I wanted the leaves to kind of like support each other. Some of Steve Prime, the, uh, you know, uh, some of his leaves have gotten heavy, and I do kind of keep them bundled, and I still could for support if they start getting a little too heavy and want to fall and break off. But with these other plants in there intermingling, the other, that the leaves can kind of support each other. So therefore, fewer rocks. So I've taken some of the rocks out and I'm using it to hold down this empty pot here. And basically, I had made the video about that, where I took stirred up the soil and everything. It's looking okay. My discipline on this is going to be, because I'm a nurturer. When it comes down to something like this, I want to like hover and nurture and stuff. And the only thing you really can do is like, uh, visit the plant or whatever. I expect Steve's going to be fun. I expect Steve to has a fully developed stalk and root system, and so does Steve 3. Uh, and so the the other three elements that are kind of at risk would be Steve 4, which is smaller, but it has a root system, and Steve 5, and then there's a twig, a singular uh, twig that I had to cut off, and so I'm trying to propagate that. That's the word I learned today. Uh, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. What else? Um, when doing any kind of thing, this basically, essentially, it's a repotting or a resituation or anything like that. So after I've done that, there will be a moment or so where the plants might be in a little bit of shock. So I've watered them with an amplitude of fluid enough to be able to leave them alone for a. I'm not gonna mess with them again. I'm gonna set a date. I'm not gonna do anything, rearrange anything like that until after I see my doctor on June 10th. June 10th is when I will go, and that'll be about a month from when I've done this. Just roughly, it's a good date for my memory. I had to like BS myself with little weird little patterns and associations like that to apply disciplines. Otherwise, I would nurture this thing to death. So, three of them I expect to make it, uh, and three elements that are in this pot I hope will make it. Um, I tried to propagate once before, it didn't do so well, but I suppose as long as it doesn't. If I just leave it alone like forever and forever. If it shrivels up, I'll know it failed, that's for sure. Okay. Man, I had a breakthrough with my painting today. I was touching up on some of it while I was waiting for my people to go out to Lake of the Pines. And then when I got home, it was just, I'm looking at the swirls and the patterns, and all of a sudden, where some of the details should be just spoke with me. And I've made a couple of videos on the YouTube about it, a short and everything like that. But it's really coming along where there's movement along the surface of that water and just a subtle rippling, maybe where there's a little bit of a dip in the ground as we get a little bit closer to the bank of the water. So some movement, some water, and obviously, you know what I mean. So there's like, as we get, because this is a lake, and it's not like a smooth ocean beach or anything like that. This is erosion in nature uh, as it happens. And so there's going to be different topography under the surface of the water, and that was where I was thinking from the beginning. Once I decided to expand where the water was going to be in this, uh, then that's great. But then once I actually got this water where I wanted, and it's damn near complete, because this is one of these things where you can overwork. You can really take something that's nice and that's going well, and continue to mess with it and overdo it. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to be really, really careful with any of the work that I do on the surface of the water moving forward. And it's nearly time to start working on the sky in the painting. And even that is going to be a measure of what happens far off in the distance versus things get larger, right? And they get larger at a vortex, like it's like a, you know, um, which is great because I have already in this painting established, uh, you know, to the right of the viewer, uh, an angle of tree line, and to the left of the viewer on the canvas, uh, a wedge of stone or rock or some sort of formation off to that side, and kind of nondescript. That's whatever, and large actually, but which creates a V of the water, you know. So we've got a focal point, you know, and it's almost like I didn't realize this, but you know, that image where you might see a photographer taking a photo from the center of a clearing, but there are trees all the way around. So all you look up is you just see a big circle of treetops. The ambulance coming. Let them. They're not coming here, but they're just on a couple of streets over, and they're moving through. I didn't. I didn't want to have to talk over them. Okay. So anyway, uh, there's a. You know, that photo. Like my friend Jana and Paul, they have a photo of that. She bought it shortly before they got married at one of our art walks that we have down here. Huge photo and a print of this photo, and it's uh, you know just from looking up from the ground through a clearing of trees, and it makes a wonderful, beautiful circle with the sky coming through. So, uh, well, this vortex that I've kind of worked on creating on it's kind of something like that. You know, it's kind of a uh, 2/3 of a way down. There's a focal point, and then all these things coming out from the center of that focal point, and that was entirely unintentional. It's just happens to be where I took these two angles, and they kind of come together nearly, you know, and create kind of an, you know, so that's kind of cool. So I can sort of work in that realm, you know, spherical. I love working when I do stuff. I love working with distance, distance and perspective and motion, but I also love throwing in a little bit of abstract geometry, even within that expressionism, uh, to kind of, you know, I don't know, you know, fuck with the mind of the viewer, and try to give a little perspective and interest or whatever. So I don't know. I'm happy to have started painting again. By the way, uh, oh, there was a guy just sitting back at the Lake of the Pines where we were visiting, and he had his little acoustic guitar, and he was just strumming and singing songs off to the side and just kind of like entertaining, providing some background music, and it was so cool. He was just sitting there, and I started to go over and ask, could I play? But I think what I'll do is I'll just take a guitar with me in November when I go into our local camp out that I go to. But I'm thinking of actually donating the painting for the benefit. Uh, anyway, I'm thinking of going there and just bringing my guitar and sitting around. It's just I don't want to sit right on top of a fire with my guitar because I don't want that smoke getting it. You know what I mean? It's like, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But it was cool. It's like, okay, I could have fun with this dude, just sitting around, just taking turns, uh, playing songs or going back and forth. Because the guy, like, it's clear he knew some chords, and it's clear he knew some songs, but the singing that he was able to do uh, was not great, and neither is mine. You know, I don't sing very well, and I don't play. But you know, but so he and I, I think as doing our little folky stuff would have been great. You know, because that's kind of what he was doing. That's kind of where he was, and I was like, that is awesome. I really could jam with that guy. You know, probably he looked to be about 20 years older than myself, and whatever. But yeah, no, that's cool. I don't care. I don't think music has an age. I think songs that become evergreen, that stick with us, um, do so because basically because they're wonderful. By the way, please send your good vibes to Steve, my plant, and everything. I I really believe that plants, in the way that they react to their environment, they react positively, or they or they react negatively in their health, and I think that that translates to human and animal. You know, we're happier and more upbeat when we're feeling great, and then we're down and when we're sick, we're more depressed, and vice versa. It's all tied in. So when plants uh, do well, they're probably in a more positive state. Now, I don't know if they perceive it in the way of emotional happiness in the way that we do and that some animals do, but I think when there's that reaction there, that you know, then there is some sort of awareness on a cellular level, you know. So to send your energies for my crop and my aloe crop. Um, because I think this is the first time I've transplanted like Steve when he was singular. After he, I let him sit for several months, and then I transplanted him into this bigger pot, and he did well. Um, this was the first time I tried to do this, this kind of thing. So it did initiate the season 2 of the aloe vera saga. So the stakes are higher. Stay tuned. Love and light. Peace. Bye.